Oh, it gave me a message, but it disappeared, so I can't read it. You know what? I can't be sipping tea today because my brain is currently melting out of its container. So we're going to do our best today for this Wednesday wrap-up of books. Welcome, welcome. My name is Margaret Bernard. You're on my channel, which means you're on Booktube. And it's hot here in Portland, Oregon, so everyone who's joining from the same general area is taking it easy, being safe, staying hydrated. Yes. I've got 5 books that I finished for you. Not for you, for me. But I've got 5 books to report out to you that I finished in the last week. And that may sound like more than usual, but a couple of these I've been going at for a while. So it's just taken a long time and they all fell within the past week. So the other thing is that 2 of them I will completely review during this wrap-up, but 3 of them are actually going to get bigger treatments, and so you'll have to follow up in other venues, and I'll explain what I mean by that in just a moment. So while you're here, you might as well subscribe. You're going to hear some good books today, so maybe you'll add them to your TBR. What have I got? I've got the wrong app. There we go. Yes, the 2 that I'm going to completely review are less complicated than the other ones. But yeah, there we have it. And the timing today is a little off. I couldn't make it at 1 because I had a Zoom. So I made it at 2, but then I have a friend who's doing a live at 2, so I scooched it back, and then I was just sitting here waiting. I don't like to just sit and wait and do nothing. I have other things to do, but I can't start them while I'm waiting. So I just started this a bit early, and hopefully that's okay with everyone who's come to watch. Emma Bennett came in to boop the like button. Thank you, Emma. Dreaming Truth author. Felicia saying hi, Margaret. Anita A.F. Stewart saying hi. Nick coming in to say hi as I'm closing the workday. Gotcha. Yeah, well, nice. Thanks for being here. So what have I got for you today? All right. So the first one is going to sound a little odd for this day of our Lord, August 15th. But you know what? I needed to feel cooler. No, I just saw this and picked it up at the library. It's called Mistletoe and Murder. It's a Daisy Dalrymple mystery by Carol Dunn. And I've read 1 or maybe 2 of these before. They're lighthearted. They're good mysteries. They're funny. So I read this and enjoyed it. This one is set in Cornwall, but it doesn't have any of the whole dark type spookiness. It's set in the 20s, as you can tell from the costuming choices on the cover. And it's set during Christmas, obviously, because mistletoe is in the title. Mistletoe doesn't play much of a role. Christmas, I guess Christmas is the reason people are all together, isolated in this stately home. She does a lovely job describing this fictitious home based on a real one. And yeah, so it was a good read. It was nice and escapist when I needed it. Here's something I learned just now reading the back. Carol Dunn is the author of the long-running Daisy Dalrymple series, as well as numerous other works of fiction. Born and raised in England, she lives in Eugene, Oregon, which is only a couple hours down the road, which is pretty cool. So all these English authors coming over to the West Coast. I bet they're sad now. 3rd day of over 100-degree temperatures. That's 42 Celsius. It's ridiculous. Anyway, the next book I have for you I have mentioned before, and I started reading it on International Bog Day, July 22nd. So this is taking me a little bit. It's a very slim novel. It's called Fen, Bog, and Swamp by Annie Proulx. I think that's how you pronounce her last name. I looked it up. It's a short history of peatland destruction and its role in the climate crisis. You know what? I had pretty high expectations for this book. Number one, because I'm a big moss nerd and love learning about ecological systems and know a little bit about climate destruction and like policy on that end. And it went off in sort of a different direction and was not really what I was expecting. There is the history of fens, bogs, and swamps, and she tries to give us a good feeling for this being a continuum of wetlands and what they represent. And it's sort of like um, if you think about oil being formed from dinosaur remains, it's kind of like the process of those organic things being pressed and um, uh, digested or whatever until they are squeezed into this form that is hydrocarbons that we use for oil and gas. And so fens are the, would I say youngest or oldest? I know swamps are the closest to woodland. So swamps are the closest to exiting wetlands and turning into a woodland. Bog is in the middle, and fen is like the murkiest, the wettest. So maybe that will help. So that was interesting. There was some like interesting little historical tidbits that I shared on Twitter that Barrett and Richard found quite entertaining. But like the things she dropped in didn't always relate, and I didn't feel like there was much about the climate action in here. So, hardcover, 20% off sale. Still pretty expensive for short hardcover. And I was a little disappointed. So I was like 2.75 stars. Good work, but wanted more and more robust. Oh, I forgot to put that up when I talked about it. There we go. Okay, now we have the 3 other books. But before I go into the 3 other books by Hamilton, I just wanted to stop to let you know what is coming up for tonight. We have a Fireside Chat. It's going to be my friend Sarah DeVello. She's coming at you from Boston, so she won't be melting. But she will be in a whirlwind because she just had her book come out at the very beginning of the month. I think it was August 1st. And it's her first mystery, her debut mystery. It's a historical mystery. It's based on a true crime. It's New York City. It's Jazz Age. It's very fun. And she's done a lot of research and is very enthusiastic about spreading the word. So she will be on. We will be doing some research for our works in progress or whatever we're working on and sharing a little bit about that. So I have yet to decide what I'm going to research because it's been a busy morning, but I've got oodles to choose from for sure. So that is part of the Fireside Chat series, which is where I welcome a creative guest onto my channel every weekday, 5 p.m. Pacific in August. And I've put a poll on in the YouTube to ask if people want to continue that. So feel free to weigh in. And what else? Sarah is tonight. Tomorrow night is our favorite Barrett Laurie, along with Morgan Lee and Tiffany Russell. So they will be having some fun on my channel. And then Friday is Pages with Paige, fellow booktuber who knows all the readathon details. So she's going to be awesome. It's the first time on the channel. And then Saturday, AuthorTubers host karaoke. So busy week, definitely the best week for a heat wave. Okay, so my 3 books that I can't talk about fully. Daisy's here. Hey. The first one is gonna be the one I'm in, the Stygian collection. So I've definitely talked about this before. I've definitely had people on and we've talked about it before, but we've talked about it in terms of being contributors. And I got my author copy, I think, 3rd week in July. So I took my time reading about a story a day because this is a short story collection. And there's 25 in here, varying in length, minus one of the shorter ones. And they are so diverse. So it's hard to describe when you rate on Goodreads, like the characteristics, because every story is like way over here in the dirt, like crazy different in voice and message and theme and style. So, like, it's very interesting to read. I definitely had some stories that really grabbed me, and others that are more straight horror, and others that are more like, I don't know, just very representative of every subgenre in horror. So, yep, there we go. And there is a giveaway for the Stygian collection being run by one of the contributors, Brie Bonomo. So if you find her on Instagram, you can easily register for her giveaway by leaving a comment and following. So, yay, Stygian collection. I may go into more depth about individual stories if people are interested, but for now, I'm in it, so I'm not going to rate it on my channel. But it is a fantastic effort put forward by the Stygian Society. Oh, Hamilton's got a question. Does alcohol fuel your karaoke? Well, no, good sir, it does not. We don't need no alcohol. I was going to say education, but I couldn't think of a way to make it a joke. Okay, so the next book, The Body Keeps the Score. This is by Bessel van der Kolk, who is a psychologist, psychiatrist, neurologist, and this is about brain, mind, and body and the healing of trauma. And you can see where my bookmark is here. It's clear, so maybe you can't see very well. But that's all like endnotes and references. So this took me from May to read. And in the same way that the Stygian collection was, I'm reading a story a day, and so it's going to take me like 3+ weeks. This was, I'm reading it, and I realized I can't read it right before bed because it's talking about trauma and it's going to give me nightmares. Oh, okay. So I just read it in like quick spurts and snatches, and occasionally when it was more sciencey, I would read longer so that I could let it sink in. And this is a fantastic book. I think I gave it like 4.5 or 4.75 stars. It is, how do I say this? What it covers, that's what I was supposed to say. What it covers is a lot about the history of like how we perceived of trauma and how we learned about memory, because he started out, this doctor, in the field of trying to help patients through therapy with PTSD. Trying to help patients with PTSD through therapy. That's better. And he ventured into all these new sorts of methods and schools of thought based on being curious and open-minded. So since the 70s, there's been sort of takeover by a lot of the psychological industry by pharmaceutical companies, because you want a drug here, it'll fix it. And what he's saying is there's lots more involved with PTSD especially, and when you get to know how the brain works and how it stores memories and how it accesses things and how our body reacts to our brain signals, the drugs really don't cut it. They don't solve the problem, and this is why. And he explains it in a way that you can understand with lots of case studies and examples and his learning, because he made mistakes, made assumptions and such. And so I just really appreciate his voice and his words and his divulging of this and his dedication to the effort to heal people's traumas in this way that is more holistic, rather than turn off that with a drug that it does nothing once you go off of it. So people make all the money and they're not encouraged to actually help you heal. So yes, I would recommend that book to almost anyone. Content warnings for lots of sort of disturbing stuff, and he does discuss people's trauma in an anonymous way, but that's why I didn't read it before bed sometimes. There we go. And then lastly, fifth book of the day, we've got The Mad Women's Ball by Victoria Mas. She's French, and it's translated by Frank Wynne. So the reason I'm not going to discuss this in more detail is that we're going to be discussing it on the Patreon book club call on Sunday. So I want to keep my powder dry, if you understand the expression. And so this is a Patreon book club pick, but we also picked an August book that would satisfy the WITmonth readathon, because that is Women in Translation. So sometimes people take that to mean women authors who are translated by whoever, and sometimes people take it to mean women translators who are translating whoever or women. So there's sort of like Venn diagram of circles of what people can consider, right? So this is a woman author who's French, translated by a man named Frank Wynne, as far as I can tell. And what I will say about this book here is that it was very enjoyable, and it sort of destroyed my preconception that all translated books are highbrow, because that's what we expect from other languages and English literature. So this was like a really good, what people were calling gothic tale. Not a romance, but like there's that creeping suspense, but it's definitely more French in the sense that like symbology and history and the setting for sure. So the story is about, it's not really about the ball, but it's about this asylum for women in 1885 Paris. It's a place where often women are shut away when they're unruly or disobedient or don't fit into society's strictures of the time, rather than actually mad, as the title suggests. And, you know, we can find parallels for this in the US, of course. But yeah, it's just like a really great plotted. So there's like a few characters we go into in depth and get their sort of transformation. I would say the main character, I'm not going to spoil it by saying who the main character is, because that may be a surprise. But it wasn't who I thought it would be. Let's just say that. The one who has the most growth is not who I thought it would be. So, yeah, very pleasant reading, very like exciting and page turning for sure. Also a slim volume, so like a short read. I read it in a day. So, recommend this one if anyone's looking for a WITmonth readathon book that they can squeeze in. Maybe your library has it too. So there we go. And oh, if you are interested in Patreon Book Club, I've got a handy link I did in advance. So I'll pop that in here. Yes, I am on Patreon, and I have some lovely folks who come every 2 months and we discuss a book. So we poll for which book we want to do, and 1 month, and then the next month we all read it and discuss. And yeah, it's working pretty well. I'm usually getting mine from the library, or there's something that's already on my shelf, because I get to engineer the choices so that some of the ones are on my TBR. Yeah. So yeah, that's the link here that we're going to be discussing Sunday. And yeah, it's a pretty quick Wednesday wrap up today, because I've got a lot going on. But I did just want to point your attention to the halfway mark of Fireside Chats. So again, this is when I'm inviting a guest on every weekday. So we have 23 shows and we're halfway through. So that's the procrastinating doing. I see you. So yeah, that is all for today. 5 books in like not a lot of time. That's because I'm living on salad and ice cream. This is the 3rd day of over 100 degrees. Fan is on, the windows are blocked. I'm doing the best I can. So thank you everyone for watching and joining, and I hope you can pick up one of these books, or, you know, maybe one of these are more your speed. Lighthearted and mysterious, or like random facts about bogs and swamps. There was a lot of conversation about bog bodies going around, and that is definitely extensively explored in that book. So tune in. But yeah, hopefully you found something you like, and maybe you'll join us for a fireside chat. That would be lovely. Hey, Jennifer. So just closing down, and I hope to see everyone at another fireside chat, or another Wednesday wrap up, or Saturday afternoon for the AuthorTubers host karaoke Euro-friendly edition. I'll get that up on the channel soon. Thanks, everybody, and talk to you again soon.